Welcome to the Cozy Mystery Quartet, four mystery authors who love to band together to talk about cozies. I'm Wendy Kendall with Michael Erdahl, Linda Hope Lee, and Susan McCormick. Cozy mystery fans are savvy, analytical, and inquisitive. They want a series, not a single book. They want to take time to enjoy and to analyze characters, settings, relationships, and of course, different crimes. And every time they pick up the next new book in the series, there's the excitement of a new adventure, and yet also a heartwarming homecoming and curiosity. What are their friends up to now? My sequel to Cat Out of the Bag is coming along nicely. But in the meantime, I've published a prequel that is available September 2nd titled Pistachio Makes a Splash. It's a chilling cold case about a missing girl that Catherine Watson discovers at the ice cream shop in Bayside while savoring a dish of pistachio. Victims in cozy mysteries usually succumb to their grave fate early in the book, often by chapter 3 or earlier. That way, readers are given even more time puzzling out the clues, suspects, and theories of the crime's solution. Readers learn about the victim through a brief time they may be alive, through other characters, and also flashbacks. After Cat Out of the Bag was done, I yearned to write more about Brenda Durling, murdered mayor of Bayside, and I wanted to see her while she was alive. Then I heard that from readers, too. That's what the prequel has allowed me to do, as Brenda is friends with Catherine during a cold case mystery adventure. That's what a series allows. Authors and readers both have the opportunity to see how their characters respond in a variety of situations, and not just the sleuth, but the responses of a cast of characters and personalities. And the crimes through the series are as varied as the motives of the criminals who commit them. Whether a cold crime or a murder committed at tonight's gala personality museum opening, each unique crime presents new challenges. And what better time to analyze a character and human nature? When subjected to the terrifying and harsh glare of a killer on the loose, and a mystifying death with so many questions left unanswered, and constant setbacks, just when you think things can't get worse, but it does get worse. That's when a person's true character is revealed. That's exciting reading. Michael, congratulations, you have the second book of your series available soon.
Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, I just received the cover art for my second book, Spring Upon a Crime, and it just really helps me be more excited to continue my series. And a crucial aspect to any cozy mystery series is the setting. Since most cozies come back to the same location every time, they need to be well developed and engaging to the reader. Authors will build that world from scratch and populate it with characters, businesses, and landmarks. Many cozies take place in a small town populated with vivacious personalities who are a hoot to meet. As the series continues, they become like old friends to the reader, who get excited when they run into the wise-cracking barista or the overly optimistic undertaker. Since you'll be returning to the same location, you'll need to develop a place that people crave reading about. Personally, I am the exception to this norm. Since my main character is a wilderness guide, she heads out to new and exciting locations every book. However, she always returns back to her home in the city where the reader gets to revisit familiar people and places. With the minutiae involved in setting up a town and a cast of characters, keeping track of all of the information becomes imperative. Have you ever read a book where the character's hair color changes from blonde to brown to blonde again? Maybe the police station is across town, but earlier in the book it was mentioned how close it was. These sort of mistakes are jarring to a reader. It will take them out of the story and doubt the world you're trying to draw them into. When I read books with enough of these errors, I often just put them down and don't pick them up again. There are many different techniques to keep details straight in a series. Some authors write out extensive character sheets with eye color, hair color, age, distinguishing marks, and backstory, among a myriad of other details. Some authors use flashcards. Personally, I have an Excel file I keep next to my work in progress to be pulled up at any time. As to the town, many authors will draw a map and write in the pertinent businesses and homes. During the editing process is a good time to reference your resources and make sure you have your facts straight, even when writing fiction. Linda, can you tell me about arcs in your Cozy Mystery series?
Thank you, Michael. Before writing the first book in the Nina Foster Mystery series, I developed plot ideas for a series of 6 books. Currently, the first 2 have been published, Book 3 is in production, and Book 4 is being written. So far, I am using the ideas I originally conceived. Here are 4 ways in which I tie the books together. Number 1. Each story features an aspect of Nina's occupation as a librarian and her love of books. For example, in Book 2, Secrets to Die For, the murder occurs in the retirement home where Nina establishes a library for the residents. In Book 4, Death Rings a Bell, Nina's expertise in children's literature leads to an invitation to lecture at her alma mater's Lit Fest. When a murder occurs, she's on the job as amateur sleuth. Number 2. Each story includes the subplot of Nina's relationship with her significant other, newspaper owner Stephen Kraslow. They meet in Book 1 and quickly establish a relationship. Each book includes a new conflict or situation to challenge them. I know their relationship will need to be resolved one way or the other by the end of Book 6. Number 3. Each story includes recurring characters. The people who make up the sleuth's immediate world tie the books together. One group in Nina's world is her library staff. Others are Nina's grandmother and several of her friends who reside at the retirement home. These characters provide support as well as occasional comic relief. Number 4. Despite subplots and recurring characters that will make readers want to experience each adventure in the series, each book must stand on its own as a complete mystery. The murderer is apprehended and all the loose ends of that particular crime are neatly tied up. Order is restored to the sleuth's world. And, speaking for my sleuth, Nina Foster, I can tell you that restoring order is her number 1 priority. Susan, tell us about your books.
Thank you, Linda. I'm Susan McCormick. My second book in the Fog Ladies series will be released October 7th. I agree with Michael. Keeping track of details of a series is the bane of any series writer. Your character can't have grandchildren in one book and none in the next, or a birthday in July followed by a birthday in October. Every writer needs a method, whether a specific computer program, or Michael's Excel sheet, or an old-fashioned paper chart. I personally keep track of the details on paper, adding each and every piece of information to a character's area as I write it. I know who prefers tea and who prefers coffee. I know who has hearing problems and who has keen hearing, and I know who gets cricks in their toes. This information can be woven in to make the solving of a murder organic and natural, based on the characters and their traits. Expressions are important. One of my ladies says, "Oh my," and one says, "Oh dear, oh dear." One lady wears pastels and smells like lilacs, and one wears drab browns, which leads her to a life reevaluation in a later book. Michael suggested drawing a map of the town so the library is not near the water in one book and near the highway in another. I have a sketch of the apartment building, which is the setting of my book, and I refer to it often to see who lives on the same floor as someone else. I know the hall carpet is red, and that Mr. Glenn now has bare hardwood floors, because he gave away his rug when he made peace with the death of his wife. Details make the character, and keeping track of details makes the series. Another aspect of a book series is that every book needs to have enough fullness of each character to be self-explanatory in case the reader starts in the middle of the series. The author needs a succinct yet satisfying way to describe relationships which have evolved during the prior books, without rehashing storyline for repeat readers. This is especially tricky if the relationships have changed and grown, as reading the books out of order could spoil the earlier book, if a romantic character is now the ex-boyfriend, or if a side character has been killed off. Similarly, the author must decide whether to allude to the crimes solved in an earlier book or not to mention them. I remember as a kid reading Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. I loved the series, but I did find it annoying that they spoke about past crimes they'd solved when sometimes I hadn't read that book yet. Another major decision is whether to age the characters or not. Unless all the books occur over the course of a very short time, giving back information reveals that the character has lived through a lot. So the author must decide if they've aged accordingly or if they remain the same age forever. A final, very important aspect of a series is the element of romance. The author has to decide in advance how quickly or slowly to progress the romance so the tension is heightened, but the reader isn't left wondering if they'll ever kiss at all. If the romance moves too quickly, then all that's left is happily ever after, or a series of fights, breakups, and makeups over time. Happily ever after is lovely, as seen in the Alexander McCaw Smith's #1 Lady Detective Agency books, but in the hands of a lesser writer might get boring. On the other hand, a couple that's always in conflict can get tiring as well. My Fog Ladies have two different romances, one between a couple in their 70s and the other a couple in their 20s. This allows one romance to be mellow and stable and one to be more exciting and unpredictable. Writing a cozy series is serious work. We hope you enjoyed these tips. Thank you for listening to the Cozy Mystery Quartet. Please join us next time when we talk about inspiration and where we find it. Please like and subscribe so you never miss an episode.